Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Connie. I'm from Bain and Company, and I will be leading this panel discussion with you all today. So in many ways, 2023 has been a year where the world is finally seeing some stability. As James Dong said, life is all good again? Maybe. We are all now not only just over the COVID-19 pandemic, but we've also gone through a number of post-pandemic adjustments, particularly on how the recent years' turbulence has really reshaped our retail and consumer landscape. So we finally have some time to really look forward into the future. What does the retail landscape look like from now to 2030? We have a group of really esteemed panelists here with us today from the world of digital commerce. And what we'll do today is actually start thinking about that question of the longer term. And in particular, how will AI in particular further change the retail landscape? AI and generative AI have been all over the news this year, very unavoidable. How is it really impacting our industry, our customers, and how should we all be responding? But I would love to start the discussion with the panel by looking at some of the longer macroeconomic trends and the digital Southeast Asian customer in particular, and how they're looking today and longer term in the future. So Jerome, given your position as the head of industry for e-commerce at Google, you must have a great overview of the overall trend from now to 2030. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're feeling about the macroeconomic environment?
Yeah, sure. Long term, we're very excited. I think James mentioned earlier the e-commerce penetration in Southeast Asia as opposed to China and the US. There's still a huge amount of headroom. So I think we're pretty excited about that. We have a report that we release every year called the Economy Report, where we size up the overall GMV and growth of Southeast Asian e-commerce. We've projected a double-digit CAGR through to 2025, but then also through to 2030. We're quite bullish. We're quite excited. But I think this year is particularly interesting. We think we have seen a pretty considerable GMV moderation that's happened in the first half of the year, and a big reason, for that is at the top, but also across the torso. I think there had been some really intentional pivots toward profitability, and of course the trade-off to that is growth. So we do think, broadly speaking, a little bit of GMV moderation in the first half. But I think that has also resulted in a much more sustainable set of monetization models for businesses, and in the long term, it actually maybe is a very, very healthy thing. If we also look this year, I think there's been some really interesting competitive shifts. I think not just at the top, but also in the torso too. There's a lot of sellers coming into the market here. Cross-border commerce seems to be a big topic this year as well. So we're seeing a huge amount of activity happening from a competitive standpoint, underpinned also by quite a healthy consumer. So if we look at our search interest, at single high digits across retail searches this year. So we have seen a relatively resilient consumer. And then just clicking a little quickly on that consumer, some really interesting trends. Video commerce, I think, is one. There's a multi-year trend that's been coming for some time, but we're starting to see videos become a lot more clickable. We're quite bullish on video commerce and what's in store. A lot more short-form video in the market now as well. Affiliate commerce. I think social commerce has obviously been there for quite some time, but that really has been formalized with a lot of more affiliate programs in the market, and I think there are a lot more natural ways of being able to sell a product online now. I think as long as creators are keeping authentic, we've got a really interesting affiliate e-commerce ecosystem in the region here as well. And lastly, I think you mentioned AI, generative AI. Look, I think we're going to dig a little bit deeper later. AI is in the hands of the consumer now. So that shopping experience we've been thinking about a lot. Like, what does this mean for a consumer, and how does their experience change? So yeah, look forward to digging in a bit there.
Yeah, really good to know that you're very optimistic about the healthy consumers in Southeast Asia. Gary, coming to you, given your very global role at Estée Lauder companies, what do you think are some of the ways that the Southeast Asian consumer and the market landscape is different in this area of the world?
Thank you, Connie. So globally, we organize our business by region. So we have multi-type of the region, like China, US, and UK. This we call the single market region. Yeah. And we also have a multi-market region like APAC and EMEA and LATAM. So back to APAC, then in Southeast Asia is a sub-region of APAC, and this is a very unique market. So actually it's compared with EMEA, right? EMEA is a more like Europe because the EU organization. So EU is actually one single digital market. But then we look at the Southeast Asia market, actually it's a combination of 6 markets. It's, you have 6 very unique markets put together, become SEA market. So overall the market, the SEA region, the market in SEA region is very fragmented. So then we look into each market, then we see lots of platform, and this is quite a unique situation. That so we have a great platform like Lauder, but we also see some other platform. So in each market, the platform is also fragmented. So overall in this region, the market is fragmented, and the platform also fragmented. In the end, the consumer behavior is also very fragmented. So the way how we do the business will be very different from the way how we do the business like in China and in the US. And the US is also fragmented, but China is relatively consolidated. Yeah. So in the end, the consumer behavior in such a market highly influenced by the market and by the platform. And our strategy actually need to be very different in this region.
Thank you, Gary. And turning to you, Ms. Duangdao, your brand, Sabina, is now over 20 years old. Can you tell us a little bit about how the consumer has really changed over those 20 years? And tell us a bit more about your brand as well.
Okay, thank you, Connie. Actually, for Sabina, we are, the company is over 50 years already, but we just start making all the marketing in Thailand is about 20 years. Starting when we start in Thailand to do the branding, we start with the generation is very young, the teenager one, because in the part, actually we are starting from the manufacturing side. We have the factory and we do almost the OEM. We start from the OEM 100% and then we do for the brand is only for support when the OEM is going down. But 20 years last 20 years, we start to think about making our brand. So we start the proportion of our brand increasing. From that time, 90% of production is for OEM, for other brand, and 10% is only for us. But now, 90% we do for our brand. It's consumed about 20 years for this transition. So when we start, so the production that we have for our brand is very limited. It means that we have not more than 10%. So we need to select that which customer that we would like to communicate with them. So we making the research and we found that most of the lady in Thailand, actually it have the sizing of the bar is quite small. The small cup size, we mean the cup A. Yeah, maybe some men here, maybe the new things for them to know. About 30% of the Thai lady 20 years ago is cup A. It means the smaller size. So that one is not the mass market. It means that the brand that nominate the market already, they do exercise to talk with the customer for other cup size. But it's suitable for us because we have limited production capacity. So we start talking with those type 30% of the customer. So we do the collection. The name is Duangdao. Maybe I think some of the people here will notice and familiar with the name Duangdao. Duangdao is mean that the bar that when the lady wear this bar, we guarantee that they will have the chest bigger one size, one cup size. So we only talking with this group of people almost 10 years. Yeah, so we select to talk with the generation from now is compared to nowadays is Gen Z. Is lower than 25 years old. But when we first launched that collection, we found it have the big surprise there because it seems that the insights of the customer, they would like to have this kind of product, but maybe because of the culture and everything in Thailand, they cannot speak out. But when we launch this kind of product, it's impact a lot with the customer. So we going increase our market share and also our product. Only this type of product, yeah. So some of the customer will feel that the Sabina brand is only for the teenager brand because we start talking with teenager almost 10 years. But 10 years later, we found that why we keep talking only 30% of the customer. Once we have almost half of the production is for Sabina brand, so we start talking with other cup size as well. Yeah, so 10 years ago at 2016, we start to launch other product and make marketing, the communication with the other cup size of the woman. And we get a very good response from the customer. So the thing that's three things, main thing, I think the first thing is the media that we talk with the group of customer, because the first group of customer is teenager. So we try to customize all the media that we talking with them directly to only those particular group. And the second thing is the message. The key message that we talk with the customer should be different also, because same product, but if you talk with the different group of customer, you should use different message, because the concern point and the insight is different. And the last thing that very important is the product. Yeah, now it did not have the one size fit all or one style fit all customer. It's did not easy like that. Yeah, from nowadays, every customer, every group of customer, they need something special for them, and they want something to very suit to their need. And they're willing to pay for something as well. So now we also going to sustainable product as well, yeah, for the trend.
Well, thank you. Really listening to your customer has been part of your success. So let's turn to the crux of the conversation now, picking up on Jerome, the start of AI. Everyone who hasn't used AI this year, obviously it seems like OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google's Bard has been really some of the real buzzwords of this year. And consumers are using it for all sorts of things, from planning their holidays to creating digital art. But Jerome, AI is not a new thing, right? Could you tell me some of the ways that Google or other players in the industry you've seen how have we used AI in the previous years?
Yeah, you're right. You're lucky to get past a meeting without the mention of AI these days. Look, AI has been foundational to our products for a very long time. And I think it was 6 years ago that our CEO made it a P0 OKR. We are going to be an AI first company. And we've seen that ride through all of our products now. So I remember when I joined Google in 2014, slightly after they launched this product at the time that was called a Universal App Campaign. And it was this revolutionary concept where they would use ML, which we called it ML or automation at that point, to find the right customer in the right place at the right time, serving across all of our different inventory types with one performance goal. And at first, this was clunky. At first, this product didn't work very well. You know, the optimization levers that we had as humans were better, right? But what we found out over time is that the performance of this product has got better and better and better. And we've applied that same principle across now almost all of our products. So across our core products, it's foundational. And I think that's been powered by our heavy research approach to AI as well. We actually just had our CEO of Google DeepMind in Singapore here just a few weeks back, and he had some really interesting thoughts. I think he's particularly excited about now because we've been working on this for a very long time, but now we're starting to see a lot more discussion on the topic. We're starting to see a lot more use cases open up, a lot more experimentation, and I think the learnings that we're taking out of that experimentation is what's going to really accelerate adoption of AI moving forward, and it continues to be a really big area for us.
And why do you think suddenly this year we're talking about AI so much?
Yeah, AI is now in the hands of the consumer, right? So, which means the media loves it and picks it up. But it's also, that's translated a lot into the business community too. And I think there is a lot more attention around AI. There's a lot more appreciation around it as an anchor for more revenue, for profitability. And I think if we look across our base of customers, also internally at Google as well, there are a few very sticky themes that I think are emerging. One of the big ones is productivity. So a huge shift in terms of how we're being more productive as a workforce internally, but for many of our customers as well. I think generative AI has really revolutionized the computing stack for sure. But in the marketing side, I think the use cases are evolving. The stickiest one seems to be in the creative production. So new tools to be more efficient at creative production. That is really, really shifting. I'll share a quick example. We have a tool which is a video editor, a universal translator. And it helps to dub videos. So it used to be a case where you would book a studio, get a voice actor, and then you would dub a video in a very, very rudimentary way. Nowadays, that's all automated. And we're actually testing a technology as well that even helps to change the lip sync, so the lip sync looks more natural. So I think the opportunities for a creative department, I think, are really exciting.
Yeah, we were joking earlier whether you're actually just a ChatGPT or whether you're a deep fake right here in front of me. But Gary, how are you feeling about the boom of AI this year? Do you think we should all be panicking at this point in time, and should we all be getting on the bandwagon?
Last week I was in China. I met several startup company, and they told me that's one situation that's if you don't do AI, you will be not able to receive investment anymore. Yeah, so only AI-related company will receive the investment in China. So it's become a very hot topic recently. But we are brand, right? So from brand perspective, I think maybe it's the right timing, or maybe it's still a little bit early. Why? Let me explain to you. So we, as a brand, we want to ride on the latest technology, but this still requires the support of the whole ecosystem and including the platform and including the ecosystem partner. So if the ecosystem partner is not ready, so it might be still too early for the brand. But however, we still can find a lot of specific area we can pilot the AI and leverage AI to improve the consumer experience and also to really drive the efficiency. This is something I think we can do. And another consideration is maybe it is still early, but we need to start to prepare the talent, because it's so difficult to get the right talent in this area, especially then you need the talent who understand both brand and the technology. So I had I'm sitting in the board of NYU graduate program. So one of our conversation with the professor of the luxury school is about okay, so how to connect the technology with the creative. That's the most difficult part, right? So with lots of with the technology evolution, especially in AI area, I believe this will become another new area. So how to prepare the talent who really understand both, not only brand, creative, and technology, and understand how to leverage data, put everything together. This possibly is a challenge for most of our brand before we think about how to leverage AI for the business purpose.
Yeah, it's very interesting you talk about China, because we always see that China is probably a few steps ahead of us, especially in terms of e-commerce penetration, but also in their adoption of AI. I think one of the things that's really transforming, one industry that's being really transformed in China is the fashion industry. As many of you may know, the fashion industry, say 20 years ago, had very long sales cycles. It was all split into seasons, long sales cycles of 6 months buying in advance. But then fast fashion came along in the 1990s, and advances in technology allowed creators, designers to create according to the current trend, reducing that 6-month cycle to maybe 1 month. But generative AI now, in China especially, has moved things along even more. Designers are now able to test their prototypes on e-commerce platforms, mocking up multiple designs and driving pre-sales before they've even produced a single product. So that 6-month cycle is now maybe 6 hours. Ms. Duangdao, I know given you're in the fashion industry, you've done a lot of this. Tell us about some of the implementations of AI in your business.
Actually for Sabina, we have own production as well. So we start doing both at the manufacturing side and the commercial side. For manufacturing side, because of we are in the fashion business, so the big thing of fashion business, the challenge is the inventory. Because our product, we have a lot of variants. So one style, we need to have the combination, only one color is about 15 sizing. So it means that the forecasting is very tough and very important for the fashion business to do. So the thing that we start doing now, we implement for the machine learning. We use the machine learning to learn all the data that we have in order to do the demand forecasting. How many pieces that we should produce per style. And then we also use the machine learning to learn once all the product is ready to be distributed to the store, that which store that we need to distribute that one and in which size, in how many pieces. Because as you mentioned before, for the fashion, it have some time long, from 6-month cycle. But for you, it's quite amazing, 6 hours. It's our dream as well. But maybe different product will have different cycle as well. So by that way, the good way that we trying to do and minimize, you can see that for Sabina, we do quite well for the SG&A. It means we can reduce all the cost and the cycle of the crash because we do this kind of thing for demand forecasting. So once we use the machine learning to do, for all the forecasting, we know what is the suitable amount of the product that we should produce. And once we want to distribute to the store, it's not mean that all the stores should have everything. We trying to distribute the correct product only according to the ability to sell that they used to sell in the past. And we also have the other technology to support in order to not to have the opportunity loss in point of sale as well. So by this part for manufacturing, we use the machine learning. For commercial size, we start using some of the AI is for the ready to use AI, just like ChatGPT or the Bing Chat, everything in the marketing size. That, but this one is only can help us to minimize the time that we need to do all the DAP. It means that in the past, we maybe have only A/B testing, but now we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G testing. Because we have a lot of time, by using this kind of thing, it means that we have more time to learn and no need to test for the big lot. It can exercise and let the team to see what is going on. We can gather all the information that have in the social nowadays and summarize in order to test whether it will work or not. When we do all the shooting, because we are the fashion, we have the photo shoot quite a lot. In the part, we need to take very long time in order to make sure that all the shooting that we have is cover everything. But at the moment, it's no need. We can enhance by using some AI to extend the picture or do anything. But at the moment, we still think that AI cannot replace, but it can just accelerate or help us to do it more better and faster.
And can you tell us a little bit about how you got started here? Does that mean your whole team is just full of data scientists and economists, or how do you get started in this journey in the first place?
Yeah, for us in the manufacturing side, we have our own programmer in house because it's related to many things inside. Because we trying to use some as the solution that is ready to use for the ERP, but it's not suitable for us. But we quite okay to have in-house to do everything inside. But when using for the outside, like commercial thing on everything, we do need to have the outside already to use as well, because the technology is going quite fast. So it's better to to make the specialists who already done something, and then we trying whether it's match to us or not. If it's very match to us, sometimes we going to do deep down and customize to be our product, something like that.
So it's important to know who the right partners are. So we've heard from all the panelists about some of the great things that AI can do to improve the customer experience, but also to help us improve operationally. But with all this excitement, there's also some growing concerns around this technology, particularly how it's going to impact our society, but also how we're going to interact as humans. And Gary, you touched on this already. How do you actually start thinking about talent? Obviously, there's a lot of fear around employees and productivity. Should we all start being worried here too?
The market has changed a lot recently. And previously, we have the brand, and then we have the product. Then we connect the brand with the consumers through the product. That's a classic model. So recently, we see you have the brand, you have the product, but you also have the content. Content becomes the first touch point between the consumer and the brand. So the consumer go to the content first, then the product. So without the content, you cannot get the traffic. So this is what happened recently in the industry. So in other words, that's we need a two supply chain, right? When we call it the product supply chain, another we call this content supply chain. So to do that, we need to understand how to really to create the content. Because the content is, we are not only talking about 10 video a year. We possibly talk about 1,000 video every week, because the life cycle for video may be only existing for 1 week. So how could we do that? So I still see some of the company try to put more resource to produce the content, but they don't understand that we are dealing with a machine. It's a whole ecosystem. You just cannot use the menu to create so many menu work to create so many content, right? So in this case, there's a big user opportunity for AI to play an important role. We all understand this is we call the AIGC, AI generated content. So it's not about how we use AI to create something from scratch. It's about how we use AI to fully leverage the content from the brand, right? So we should fully understand the other concern of the brand safety and also the communication angle. So we still have the opportunity to fully use this technology to really to focus on the high volume but less risk content. Guess what? 70% to 80% of the content is a high volume and less risk. And the brand can very much focus on the high impact but high risk content. So this is one opportunity in the industry. I'm not sure I think this is not only valid for the beauty industry. I guess this is valid for almost all the consumer industry. Yeah. So this actually is one of the example, one of the business case how we can leverage the AI to really to solve the problem of the brand and to really to generate more content in order to connect the consumer better. Yeah.
So you're basically saying all the high impact content, you always need a human touch in order to
yeah, because the high impact content usually come together with the media budget, and this is you still need some high level content. And together with the media budget to really to elevate the brand image. So this should be still managed by majority, I would say 90% or even not 100%. This should be managed by the talent and in this creative talent. But a lot of content like the advertisement content, performance media content in e-commerce platform, this can be easily managed through the technology. Think about the volume. As I mentioned, maybe every content may be only valid for the life cycle maybe only 1 week. Yeah. Think about how many SKU you have, and think about how many platforms you have. As I mentioned, this is such a fragmented market, and in each market there are so many platforms here. So the content volume is huge. Yeah. To do that, we need to really think about how to use the machine to deal with the machine. It's really a challenge to use people to deal with the machine. That's almost not doable. Yeah.
And my last question now, Jerome, given Google's long history of using AI, what's your view of like kind of how can we use AI responsibly, especially now, as you say, it's so much more in consumers' minds now?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not a quick question, but I will try and make it as quick as I can. We've been thinking a lot about this topic, right? I mean, on a long journey of AI. Bold and responsible is the way that we're thinking about development of AI. Bold because there's a lot of really great changes. We touched on some of them today, but some of the use cases that we see for AI are considerably reducing research time to be able to, reduce cancer research time, or viruses and diseases. Our AlphaFold program reduced research time by 400 million years, which is unheard of before, right? So there's this incredible societal benefit that can come from being bold, but there are definitely risks. And I think it's really, really important that we talk about them, and it's really important that they are raised, and that areas of uncertainty are questioned, and then we be proactive about them as well. And I think it was raised earlier today, content, and how do we make sure that we're seeing the right content, not synthetic content. And this is a big area that we're focusing on at the moment. And actually, just yesterday we had an event where our CEO presented. And he shared that we're the first cloud company that's going to help to provide watermarking on AI-generated content, which will embed some information into that content so that you understand, are you looking at modified content or not? So I think that's one step, right? That requires other companies, that requires regulators, that requires creators and the entire ecosystem to come on board. So I think to manage some of these risks, it's about discussing them, identifying them, and then trying to string together some industry alignment on it.
And being very conscious that we are doing so in particular. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've been able to learn a little bit about how our panelists are feeling about AI and how it's going to impact the retail space. It's been a great discussion, and I hope you've all been very inspired. Thank you for your time and attention, and let's give a round of applause for our panelists and give them our appreciation. Thank you very much.